Alright, so this is how we formatted the Excel sheet. For severity, we made a new column. That is a formula to grab the first left character from severity. So that is equal to left and then severity and then 1. So that's the first character. We also did the same thing for priority number, and we did the same thing for satisfaction number. The last thing we did to format the data was the requester category. Alright, so the way that we did requester category was to take the 4 leftmost characters and cut them off of requester seniority so that we have a just text variable instead of text and numbers. And that gives us just the text variables left. So that is how we initially cleansed our data. So to make the pivot table to further analyze our data, we made a pivot table. And we created a pivot table with rows as IT owners and the columns as satisfaction score, 1 being the worst and 3 being the best. So we wanted to make a weighted average. To have the weighted totals, we did the first column divided by the total. So that gives us the percentage of reviews for each IT owner that got 1, and then we did the same thing for 2 and 3. Now that I've done this, you can see that I have the percentages of each rating for each IT owner, and I also have a weighted average. The way we did this was we rated the 1 scores at 0.5. We wanted them to impact the weighted average a lot because it is very bad to have a 1 score. For the 3 scores, we made it so that they would have a large positive impact, so we did a 1.5 weight. 2 scores, we said that they weren't good or bad, so they should just not have a specific weight attached to them. One drawback to this method is that some weighted scores for the IT owners are above 3, so the original scale doesn't actually work with this weighted score. One can derive their own scale. And that is the end of the Excel portion. Alright, so for the Tableau portion, what we did was imported our data, and then we made a satisfaction versus days open. And we actually changed it to the average of days open, because the sum doesn't make sense. So this shows that unsatisfied people have the longest average days open, which makes a lot of sense, because if your ticket's open for a long time, you're going to be unsatisfied with the service. On our next sheet, we did priority versus days open. So we looked and we saw that the same trends still exist. So for low priority, there's a larger amount of days open on average, because it would make sense that you would get to the high priority tickets before you get to the low priority tickets. This next one that we did is IT owner versus average days open. When you look at the average of these and also the average satisfaction, if you put that in color, then you can see that these IT owners, you can see how quickly they fix their tickets and also their average satisfaction rating. And you can see from this chart that the darker satisfactions, which are the higher ones, always resolve their tickets sooner. And that makes a lot of sense because people will be more happy when their tickets are resolved sooner. For this last chart, we did IT owner versus the count of the tickets that they've done. And so that shows that each of these IT owners, it shows how many tickets they've each done. This is a good metric for seeing how productive your workers are. Now for the dashboard. For the dashboard, we dragged in each sheet and we applied filters to them. For the first filter we did, we went to here and we used IT owner. So this filter, you can select whichever IT owner you'd like. You can change it to either multiple values or single value. We decided on single value slider, and we applied it to each worksheet because all of them can be filtered using IT owner. So this would show this certain IT owner's average days open, satisfaction, priority versus average days open, and all of these variables. The second filter we did was the average satisfaction number. These only apply to the 2 bottom sheets, as the top sheets don't make sense when you aren't including all of these satisfactions. You can see here the top few employees that everyone is satisfied with, or you can show the employees that need some work and aren't pulling as much weight.